360 walking around. What year is this, Terry?
This is a 1930 Model A Ford Town sedan named Emma.
Emma. Emma is beautiful. So you've got her all cleaned up for our little foray out for breakfast this morning?
It got cleaned up this last week, and Emma's ready for a little run back to the house. We're over in Huntington Beach near Central Park, and took her out for a little drive.
Wow. Let's take her for a ride. Let's show the people how different a 1930s era technology is. So Terry, we're back to recording. And I thought maybe you would show how a 1930s technology car was started. We take it for granted so much with the modern cars. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's a little different starting a 1930 Model A. You don't just put the key in and hit the starter switch. You have to do several things. First of all, we'll put the key in. We'll turn the ignition on. And then I have to reach under the dash. There's a fuel petcock valve that I turn on, that enables gasoline to flow from the tank, which is mounted right here, down to the carburetor. So I turn that on. I take the spark lever, which is over on the left side here, and fully retard it, and I pull the throttle, the hand throttle, down a few notches to give it some gas. And then I take this fuel enrichment knob and open it up a little bit, and then I step on the starter switch, and it starts right up.
There she
goes. Once it starts, I turn the enrichment knob back down slightly, and I usually leave the throttle set for a fast idle just for a few minutes to warm the car up, and then we're ready to drive away.
I'll be darned. So there's more than just putting the key in and turning it over on this car.
There is. Most people wouldn't know how to start this car, so it's makes it kind of theft-proof, because even if you left the key in the car, most people could not start it.
So we're recording again and riding through Central Park in Huntington Beach, California. And Terry, tell us about what it's like with shifting on this. Is there any synchro mesh in this? Obviously it's a manual shift.
This is a manual shift car, but back in 1930 they did not have synchro mesh transmissions, so you have to do what's called double clutching when you shift up or shift down. You can't just pop it into gear. So you need to manipulate the throttle to get the speed synchronized right, and you also have to push in the clutch a couple times. So this would be a double clutch. We'll shift into neutral, put the clutch in, and then shift one more time.
All right, let's take her out on the road to go back home and see what it's like. So Terry, I'm going to concentrate on your footwork here as you take us from a start, get her up into second gear, and go down to third gear. So now we're back up on the city streets heading back home. Terry, how fast will this go, let's say, if you're on a highway drive?
If I'm on normal roads like this, I drive at about 45. If I get on the freeway, I shift into overdrive and I can go 60
wow.
on the freeway, so it humps right along.
Now, to me, 60 miles an hour in this car would be going pretty fast.
It is pretty fast, and actually, a car this old, the main limitations are brakes and tires. These have very skinny tires from back in the day, and the brakes are mechanical brakes, so they have limited ability. So going 60 in a Model A, you want to be careful where you are and how close you're following other cars, and make sure the car is in good running condition. This car handles 60 pretty well on the freeway, but you definitely have to know its limitations.
Okay, well, we'll enjoy the ride from the 1930s to 2014 here, and we get back closer, we'll talk a little bit more about what goes on. thing we don't get with the modern cars.
The coil radiator cap. Henry Ford was very fond of the Model A and thought that the coil, which was a fast little bird, was kind of symbolic of the Model A, quick and nimble, and that's why he chose that to be kind of an unofficial symbol of the Model A. I've got the turn signal on because we're going around the corner.
So Terry, I'm going to concentrate on your footwork. We're already in third gear, rolling along, so not much else to do.
Shift into overdrive. Overdrive is synchronized, so you just push in the clutch and move this lever forward, and now we're in overdrive. Usually I shift into overdrive at about 40. Now we come to a stop, I'll shift from overdrive back into regular gearing range, and as we're getting slower, I'll shift into neutral because we're going to come to a stop.
All right, the light's about to change. This is going to be a little longer recording strip, but I'm going to watch you put it into first gear here and then shift through the gears. We're right around the corner from Terry Hardgrave, so we'll just record your virtuosity with the gear shift. And everybody had to do this. There was no free lunch. You just didn't hop into the car and go driving. You had to know a little bit about what you were doing to start it up, keep it going, and even to keep it running as you were on the street. It's a real education. There's Terry taking her into the garage. That's little Emma. Fine car. 80 some odd, 90 years of automotive faithfulness, we'll call it. We're going to pan around here, and pan around is correct because we're going to bring in the Panamera, and just from the point of view of an exterior, that's about 100 years of automotive technology evolution. So just before we go inside, what a delightful morning, and what fun to ride around in this car. And Terry, you just described it as a gym. You say you like to come out and just take a look at it and just imagine the era that they built it in, and what America was like in those days. It's fun. What's the longest trip you've ever been on it?
We took it up several years ago, all the way up to Yosemite and back on about a 4-day trip. We did up and back in about 7 hours, so it was a long day in the car. But and we also took a trip to Hearst Castle, up and back in it. So it's been on a few trips over the Grapevine.
Wow.
Did quite well.
That must have been quite a pull for this car to go up over the Grapevine, huh?
Yeah, I went up in high gear and pulled it just fine. Didn't have any, got a little warm going up, but didn't overheat.
That is nice. Well, thanks a lot for this. It's really fun. I'm going to share this with my Facebook friends. And I think it'll mean something to people to see the differences.
I think it's fun for people to see what cars were like back in the day. You don't see too many of them on the road anymore, so it's interesting.
Okay, we're shutting off. My challenge will be to edit this down and make it look interesting. We'll give it our best shot. The ride was sure interesting. Talk to you later.